Hollywood Studios. Once again, I'm going to do a complete walkthrough of Hollywood Studios, and if you want to follow along using the map on the My Disney Experience app, feel free. I'll put mine here. We'll go through the rides, the dining, some shows, because there's quite a few shows at Hollywood Studios. So if we make a start straight away, I'm going to select on Hollywood Studios in the My Disney Experience app. I'm going to go through all of the shops and first aid and guest relations and that right at the end. But to begin with, we're going to start on Sunset Boulevard, which is as you've walked through the shops on your right hand side. So the first thing that we're going to come to is the Hollywood Brown Derby Lounge and also the Hollywood Brown Derby. That is the main restaurant, and then the lounge is just a bit of an addition if you want to sit outside or just grab something a little bit more quickly. And then if we move just a little bit further over, there's the Starbucks at Hollywood Studios, which is the Trolley Cart Cafe. Carry on going down Sunset Boulevard, we're going to come to a few shops. One of the first one is Beverly Sunset Boutique, and that shop actually sells quite a few different toys in it, in kids' clothes, and there's not many adult things in there if that's what you're looking for. And they do also have baby clothes right at the back of the shop as well, so that's quite handy to know if you need that. And then just the opposite side is the Legends of Hollywood, and that's your Pandora shop at Hollywood Studios. They sell a lot of different jewellery as well, but it's a really nice store to go through, and you can actually walk through the rest of the stores as well to get a bit of air conditioning if you need to. And then just opposite that is the Sunset Ranch Pins and Souvenirs, so that's your pin store at Hollywood Studios. And then just opposite that is Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Time is a shop that sells just different apparel and accessories, but I do believe that quite a few years ago it was the watch shop for Disney, and you used to be able to get an animator's drawing inside of the face. And then if we go back to dining, that's where Anaheim Produce is, and you'll get through lemonade drinks, pretzels, little snack things there. And then if you move just a little bit further on, you'll come to Catalina Eddie's and Rosie's All American Cafe. They're both quick service restaurants. You'll get things like pizza, burgers, chicken tenders, just the usual theme park stuff. And you can mobile order at both of those. I definitely recommend doing that. Don't worry if you don't see any seating either, because it turns around quite quickly. And then just a little bit further down, you've got Fairfax Fair, and they do I think it's called a chicken waffle bowl. I'm sure it is, with a buffalo chicken on it. That's really nice. It's very different having the bowl made of a waffle, but the mashed potato and the chicken in that is really nice, so I recommend that. And you can mobile order there as well. And then you've got Hollywood Scoops, and that is usually a place that I visit just before going in to see Fantasmic, because Fantasmic is an open air show, so you can take food and drink into the arena. So yeah, so we normally get like a little brownie or something with a couple of scoops of ice cream, and yeah, eat that whilst watching Fantasmic, or waiting for Fantasmic, let's be honest. No way. Maleficent Cone and Cruella ice cream sundae sound really nice. There's a Hades one as well. I wonder if that's because of the new villain show that's just come out in Hollywood Studios, but I need to try them if they're still there. That Hades ice cream float sounds nice. Blue raspberry slush and vanilla ice cream topped with blue something syrup, boba pearls and blue cotton candy. Oh baby. I think I'd be getting heart palpitations after that one with the amount of sugar that's in that, but oh well, I'll burn it off dancing to Fantasmic, I reckon. Moving on to attractions in this area. So first of all, you've got Beauty and the Beast live on stage. There's quite a few different show times for this one. It's just really nice to sit down, and it's a really good show to watch as well, actually. And then you've got Hollywood Tower of Terror, which speaks for itself, and you've also got Rock and Roller Coaster with Aerosmith, but I think it's getting an overhaul with the Muppets in it, so I'm quite looking forward to that because I like the Muppets. And then in the back area, where used to be Cars, is now the Disney Villains Unfairly Ever After. That's supposed to be a really good show, so hopefully I get to see that in October. So you can take food and drink into the Beauty and the Beast show, because again, that's an open air show, but you won't be able to take it into the Disney Villains show because it's in a building. Quite a few show times as well on that one. So if we walk back down Sunset Boulevard, and I think we'll go, if you're looking at the map, we'll go to the left-hand side and just having a look at what characters you can meet on the animation courtyard. So you can meet Chip, Daisy Duck, Dale and Max. I believe that all of these you can't actually go up and have a photo with. I think they're all, from what I can remember, they're all on like a gated lawn. So they're typically performing for a lot of people all at once and not necessarily grabbing a photo. Next person comes along, grab a photo with them. I don't think it's like that from what I can remember anyway. Just a little bit further round, you've got Goofy, Donald Duck and Clarabelle. And then if you go into Star Wars Launch Bay, you'll be able to meet BB-8, Chewie and Darth Vader. So we'll move on to attractions in this area. So obviously you've got Star Wars Launch Bay, but that's more a character meet and greet. If we change it to the entertainment, the new Little Mermaid show has just opened. I've not seen any snippets of it yet, mainly because I don't want to. I want to try and watch that in October if we can. It's meant to be a really good show and there's quite a lot of show times as well, so make sure that you can get in that. It's a good chance to grab a bit of air conditioning as well if it's really hot outside, but with it being in a building you won't be able to take food and drink in there. And then there's the Get Animated at Animation Courtyard, which is, I think it's a Disney Juniors interactive show where characters come out and like kids can have a dance and you know, things like that. So, and I think there are benches in there for parents to sit at if you want to have a sit down. And then you've got Wonderful World of Animation, which is like a projection show on the Chinese theatre. That's at night. I think that's just after Fantasmic, literally just after Fantasmic. So you'd have to get quite a bit of a shift on to get round there and be able to watch the start of it. And then you've got Walt Disney Presents, which is basically all about Walt Disney's legacy, and there's quite a few different artifacts in the gallery in there, so they're worth looking around. And I believe that you can also meet the live action Ariel in there, and then you also go through to a bit of a theatre where you see Walt Disney One Man's Dream. Sometimes they have little previews of coming up films. And then we've also got Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which is a really good ride. So that one is an any height requirement ride. That is where the Great Movie Ride used to be. And then if we carry on going round, this is where you'll find the market, and there's also a Joffrey's stand. So you'll get like little Jack cookies at the market, and then at Joffrey's it's just the usual beautiful coffee and probably some amazing cookies. Oh, also there's a really great cookie at the Joffrey's stand just outside of the Tower of Terror when you come off the ride. It's a purple one and I can't remember the name of it, but it was really nice. Yeah, so that shows where you can meet Ariel. And then in this area here, there's quite a few different characters that you can meet. They're all Pixar based. So there's Frozone, Joy, Edna Mode, James P. Sullivan and Mrs. Incredible as well down there. So I think quite a few of them are inside as well, so you get a bit of aircon as well while you're waiting for them. And then if we start to make our way over to Toy Story Land, the first thing that you'll come to is a meet and greet with Buzz on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, just before, or was it just after, I can't remember, the big Woody statue, you'll come to Roundup Rodeo Barbecue. And that is a table service buffet meal. So it's like a family style buffet. So you'll pay a set amount and then they'll bring as much as you want out of what they serve. So if we carry on walking round, then you'll come to Toy Story Mania. It's one of my favourite rides at Hollywood Studios. It's an interactive game that you can play with everybody. There's 4 seats in the cart, but I believe you can take small children with you. So I think you can fit 3, but I don't actually know, because to be fair, I've never really had to look out for it, so I don't know on that one. I think it's an any height requirement ride. It does spin you around at some stages, but what you'll do is you'll basically keep coming back on yourself and have these interactive screens in front of you where you can shoot different targets. So I won't go into it too much because it'll spoil it for people that haven't been on it, but I love that ride and I think I'm yet to be beaten actually. Yeah, I think so. Maybe the guys that I go with in October will absolutely whoop me on it, but who knows? And then if we keep going round, you'll come to another meet and greet with a character, which is Jessie and Woody, and that's just outside of the queue for Toy Story Mania. It is out in the sun where you're waiting, so just bear that in mind. And then on the right hand side to that is Slinky Dog Dash. That one's got a 38-inch height requirement, and it does get quite busy. Toy Story Land was actually designed to be amazing both in the day and at night. So if you can go in the evening, it's a great place to be because there's not really that much shade in that area, so it's quite hard to be there during the day. And then if we carry on going round, you'll come to Alien Swirling Saucers, which is very similar to Teacups, but it's a different system. That one is a 32-inch height requirement. And then just opposite that is Woody's Lunchbox. They do really good breakfast options as well if you're looking for somewhere to go for breakfast that isn't in Galaxy's Edge. There's not that much seating, but I know that they've just done an extension of the seating, so it should be a little bit easier to get a table now. Just again, a little bit of an FYI, if you're not that much of an eater while it's hot, it's worth getting the kids' meals here because you get plenty of food. And then if we start to make our way into Galaxy's Edge, there's quite a few different ways that you can go around Galaxy's Edge, so I'll just do it in order of what I can see on the map. But if you get stuck, there's cast members roaming around Galaxy's Edge, and they'll basically help to direct you to where you want to go or what you want to see. If you can't remember the name of the shop or things like that, they'll help guide you to where you need to go because it can get quite confusing there. So the first thing is the milk stand. This is where you'll get your blue and green milk. This one is not for me, but I know a lot of people that do like it. And then there's Ogre's Cantina, which is really great. That's the bar that you see in Star Wars where it's like that one. It's worth going into. The drinks are very expensive, but you can get souvenir glasses, which basically sells me every time because if you add a cup into the situation, then I'm sold. But the price will stock up, and I think you can order 2 drinks each, alcoholic and non-alcoholic, but I don't believe that they will sell any more than that to you because you only get time limit. And just so that you know, when you do go in there, you're not necessarily going to get a seat. You might be at a bar that's standing, which is absolutely fine because the tables that are in there are really secure, so you can sort of lean on them whilst being in there, but just make sure that you don't knock somebody's drink over that they've just paid $30 for, because it's quite gut-wrenching when that happens. I do know somebody that's done that on a recent trip. So they also don't really sell meals in there, but they do serve like little grazing platters and things like that you can have. I like to book this sort of late afternoon when everybody's just starting to leave the park. It's just quite a nice way to sort of end the day. So the next one to move on to is going to be Docking Bay 7. That is where you will find your quick service stuff. So a lot of the food that they sell in Galaxy's Edge is going to be very different. It's sort of protein based, similar to what it's like in Pandora Animal Kingdom, where you'll get the odd weird thing. For example, one of the kids' meals is the fried chicken tip yip youngling meal. It sounds like a really bad rap. As in music rap, not a food rap. Yeah, so fried chicken tip yip youngling meal. Which actually sounds a lot more complicated than what it actually is. Crispy chicken served with house-made macaroni and cheese and roasted vegetables served with whatever. But yeah, you're just not necessarily going to find your usual burger, chicken nuggets, that type of thing. But it's actually really nice food in here, so do give it a chance if you can find something that you like. That's tickled me. So the next thing is Cat Sacker's Kettle, which is basically where you can order the popcorn. I've never tried it, so maybe it's something that I need to try in October. And then you'll come to Ronto Roasters, which is where you'll find the breakfast and lunch and dinner Ronto wraps. The breakfast wrap has got a lot more popularity than what the lunch and dinner one is. I've never tried it, but I really do want to try that one. I always tend to go to Woody's Lunchbox just because it's easier for a lot of people. Everybody will find something there. So if we go back round to see the attractions, the first one is the Millennium Falcon. That's a really fun ride. You're basically flying the Millennium Falcon on a smuggler's mission. The height requirement for this one is 38 inches. It is really fun if you can get there, but also if you are on your own with random people and they don't take it seriously, it's really annoying. You could say some words that are inappropriate to people that you don't know, that you would probably say to your family if they were doing terribly at some sort of video game. But pilots, then you've got the engineers and gunners. Pilots is really fun because a gunner is also really fun, but unfortunately the engineers, yeah, you've been done over if you get the engineer role. But it's fun anyway, and it's fun to watch because it's not as easy as if you're piloting, you can literally control everything because it's meant to be hard for everybody. So that's like going and saying that you can play golf so you'll do really well at mini golf. It's not as simple as that, but yeah, it's fun. And then the characters in this area, you can again meet Chewie, Rey, and V Maradi. I don't know who that is, but I don't really watch Star Wars, so maybe I've just completely and utterly insulted a lot of people, but that's fine. Sorry about that. And then a little bit further round, you can meet the First Order Stormtroopers, which are actually roaming characters as well. I'll insert a little clip here where my brother and my dad saw Galaxy's Edge for the first time, and they are really big Star Wars fans, so it was really quite sweet to see it. And you can also meet Kylo Ren, which is also a roaming character as well. I know that there are shows on as well, but it's weather dependent. And then a little bit further around, you can meet the Mandalorian. Within Galaxy's Edge, there's quite a few shops. So you've got First Order Cargo, Droid Depot, Savvy's Workshop, which is where you can build your lightsabers, Doc Onder's Den of Antiquities. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I think you can get lightsabers in there. I'm pretty sure that's where my older brother got his lightsaber from. And then just a little bit further into the actual village or city, there's Black Spire Outfitters and also Creature Store, which is where you'll find like apparel, accessories. That's where you'll find the plushes as well. I'm pretty sure Porgs are in there because they're the one thing that I do know from Star Wars because they're really cute. And then just a little bit further down is the Toy Dairy and Toy Maker, which is where you'll find little like ship replicas and things like that. Resistance Supply, and I think they've got outfits there that you can buy. And also in this area is where Rise of the Resistance is. That's probably one of the most popular rides at Hollywood Studios. A lot of people go there for rope drop. You can find it for a relatively short wait time if you hit it at the right time. So just before Fantasmic or just after Fantasmic has started is a really good time to go on it if you're not bothered about seeing the show. Or if you catch the first showing of Fantasmic, then you can go back round and go on some of the rides with a little bit of a shorter queue. But what I will say is there is a single rider queue, and I know that a lot of people use that now, and you can literally get on it when it's got a 60-minute wait within 10 minutes. So it's worth doing that if you're not too fussed about sitting with your family. It's got a 40-inch height requirement as well. The wait time does tend to drop at about 8 o'clock as well. So if we carry on walking round, so you'll come round and you'll see ice cold hydraulics, which is basically just like a little snack cart. They do churros, popcorn, just little things like that really. And then on your left hand side, you've got a Baseline Tap House, which does really nice grazing platters like charcuterie plates and things like that. It's got some nice drinks there as well. And then just a little bit further on, you've got the Sci-Fi Dining Theatre. That is a experience really. So you'll go into this huge building and they've got, I want to say maybe 20 to 30 sort of 50s looking cars facing the direction of a huge screen, and it's like really low light. There's lights on the tables, but it's low light, and they do things like burgers, chicken, very diner drive-in sort of food. It's really good in there, and it's nice to chill out in there as well because it's quite calm. That's where you can do one of the Fantasmic dining packages. I believe it's there, Hollywood Brown, and as we walk back round, I'll try and remember what the last one is. I know that one of them used to be Mama Melrose, but that's short. And that basically gets you a area within the Fantasmic arena where you will have a seat saved, and it's the two middle sections as well, so it is a pretty good view if you do have one of the dining packages, because you can go in a little bit later than what everybody else would do that needs to save themselves a seat in the arena. But you do need to book them 60 days out because they'll go. And then just a little bit further around is the ABC commissary. I like the shrimp tacos from here. They're really fresh and just nice to have something different than chicken and fries or something like that. They do things like burgers, toasties, loads of seating in this bit. It's inside, so you get a bit of aircon. Yeah, it's a good place to go really, and you can mobile order there. Okay, so some of the characters that you can meet in this area are Mickey and Minnie. I've never met Mickey here, and he's in his little Fantasmic outfit. Well, it's not a Fantasmic outfit, it's Sorcerer Mickey, but that's what I'm gonna call it. So yes, and then Minnie's in her old Hollywood style dress as well, so it's something different if you want to meet those there, and they're both inside as well, so you get a bit of aircon. You can also meet Olaf, and that's inside the building on the other side near where the exit to the Frozen show is. And then if we carry on walking around, on the right hand side you've got Star Tours. That gets updated, so if you've been on it before, don't think it's not worth doing, because they continuously update the different scenes that you can get to match with the new Star Wars release movies and TV series that come out, so it's worth going on. And then you can also find Vacation Fun, which is a animated short, the new style Mickey cartoons. I really like them, so it's nice to go in here and watch. This one you get like 15 minutes of aircon, a nice seat. It's a comfy seat, so yeah, it's nice to go in there. And then this building is for the first time in forever, so that's a Frozen show. It's really good. Just need to check the times for this one. I don't recommend going to the last one because it will get full. Yeah, I'd try and go halfway through the day really if you can. That's an indoor show, so you can't take food and drink in there. And then on the just opposite there is the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. That's an open air show, so you can take things in there with you. It's more of a behind the scenes type of thing. Again, I'd try to avoid the last show of the day. And then just before we miss it, this is where Backlot Express is. The pulled pork sandwich from here. Chef's kiss, delish. I will get that every time, but the teriyaki chicken bowl looks nice. There's quite a few things that you can get here. You can get a nice slush, fine seating inside and outside. It's not necessarily as cool as somewhere like ABC because it's like an indoor-outdoor seating area. And then just outside of Indiana Jones, there's the Epic Eats, which is funnel cakes. And then just over the other side of the lake is Dockside Diner. You'll get things like hot dogs, macaroni and cheese. There's no indoor seating here, so be aware of that. And then if we keep walking around to the other side of the lake, you'll get 50s Primetime Cafe and the Tuning Lounge. The Tuning Lounge is a nice place to go because it's relatively quiet in there. And then 50s Primetime Cafe is basically a restaurant that is meant to be based on sort of 50s style classic American home cooked food. It's a table service restaurant. It's not a buffet or anything like that. You can choose what you want to have. I would make a reservation for this one if you do want to go in there. It's not really somewhere where I tend to want to go because I'm just too hot to eat anything like that. But I know that a lot of people do like it in there, so, you know, each their own. And then you've got Hollywood and Vine, which is a buffet character meal. They do breakfast, lunch and dinner in there. I know that it is quite expensive to eat there, so I mean, it's worth it if you want to meet the characters though. And then if we walk back down the Hollywood Boulevard, we'll come to Keystone Clothiers, surely. Clothiers we'll go with. And that is where you're going to find apparel. You tend to find like adult jackets, bags, t-shirts. And then just opposite is Celebrity 5 and 10. That is where you'll find like homeware things, your sweets, magic bands, photography stuff. And then just opposite that is Mickey's of Hollywood, and that's your typical big shop of the park really. So that's got like all of the plushes, kids' toys in there, jackets, pins, got a bit of everything in there, Mickey ears. If we just go and zoom out a little bit, this is where you'll find the Fantasmic Arena. So it's not much of a walk at all. Like don't think it's a huge walk to it. It maybe takes 5 minutes top, and it's basically a huge rock that's got a bit of a lake around it, and then you're sat facing the rock. And it's like a projection show. It's got fireworks. It's got Mickey Mouse doing a dance. Yeah, and that's it really. So you'll come back out and you'll be able to get the boat, the Skyliner, Disney buses, and you can also walk to the boardwalk and all of the resorts there. So technically you can actually walk from Hollywood Studios to Epcot if you wanted to. Quite a way, it's about 1.5 miles, but it's fine. I've done that quite a few times. From when I worked at Yacht and Beach, I used to walk over to Hollywood Studios to go and watch Fantasmic at night. So, okay, so if we just go really quickly through what I would tend to do during a day at Hollywood Studios, I'll do it based on going from rope drop right to the end of the day. You have to think about ride times and things like that as well, and what other people want to do if you go with other people. But what I would tend to do is go in, I would rope drop tower, then I'd go over to Woody's Lunchbox for some breakfast. I'd then probably try and get as much of Toy Story Land done as what I can, so go on Slinky Dog, Midway Mania, and then I'd carry on walking through. I'd go and see Indiana Jones, so that it's one of the sort of midday shows. Then I'd go for some food at ABC Commissary. Then I'd go back round and go on to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I'd actually leave the park. I'd get the Skyliner over to the Riviera Resort because, to be honest, any excuse, I'd just get one of the French roast coffees from there. Delicious, which is not French, but I'm going to pretend that it is. And also refill my resort mug at one of the freestyle machines that's there. And then I'd do a bit of shopping at the Riviera, and then get the Skyliner back over to Hollywood Studios. Obviously check the ride times at this point, but I would then probably do a little bit of shopping on the Hollywood Boulevard because it might be a bit quieter with people being in the park at this stage. Try Tower again, go and see the Beauty and the Beast show. Then I'd go and see the Villains show. Probably try and go back round for another go on Midway Mania, but that can tend to get quite a big queue, so you'd be lucky to get on that again. And then I'd get an ice cream from Hollywood Scoops and go and watch Fantasmic, and that would be a perfect day at Hollywood Studios in my opinion. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. This is going to be the last one of this series now, so the next set of videos that I'm going to do are going to be sort of like a Q&A. If you've got any questions, leave it in the comments below. We're going to be asking some friends what questions they would have, and probably putting some questions on my TikTok as well, so follow me on there as well. I'm going to be doing a vlog series when we do go in October, so yeah, if you want to see that, follow along. If you don't, toodaloo. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. Bye.